Learned to smile with stones inside my chest, to say I'm fine when I had no rest. Walking through rooms nobody could read, carrying storms nobody could see. People love the version that survived, but never asked how I stayed alive. Every scar was hidden in plain sight, a quiet war behind the lie. I became an expert at standing tall, even when I felt too small. Turning broken ice into another day, teaching myself not to drift away. No one heard the battles in my head, no one saw the tears I never shed. I kept moving, I kept my flame, even when nothing stayed the same. And I stopped waiting to be understood. Some roads only make sense once they're crossed for good. Not every wound needs a witness to heal, not every silence means nothing is real. They never knew what I carried, the weight, the silence, the nights I buried, the tears that dried before they could fall, the thousand times I rebuilt it all. They never knew what I carried, but I'm not angry, I'm no longer weary, because the fire that nobody saw turned into the reason I stand at all. I wore forgiveness like an old black coat, kept too many words inside my throat, held my own hand through empty years, smiling through invisible fears. I gave my best when I had little left. Life kept taking, I kept giving breath. Not because I didn't feel the pain, but because I knew pain doesn't remain. There were mornings I could barely rise, yet I still looked life in the eye. Something inside refused to fade, even when hope arrived delayed. And maybe strength was never loud, maybe it never needed crowds, maybe the strongest souls survive without announcing they're alive. No one can measure another soul, you never know what made them whole. Some people carry mountains unseen and still show up calm and clean. They never knew what I carried, the weight, the silence, the nights I buried, the tears that dried before they could fall, the thousand times I rebuilt it all. They never knew what I carried, but I'm not broken, I'm not sorry, because the fire that nobody saw turned into the reason I stand at all. And maybe that's enough, not to be understood, not to be explained, just to know I stay, just to know I stay. There was a version of me long ago, always afraid to let it show, waiting for someone to finally say, I see your soul beneath the gray. But years passed and something changed, the silence slowly rearranged. I stopped searching outside my skin and found the place I lived within. I learned that caring doesn't mean that life forgot to make you see. Sometimes the deepest love appears after surviving all those years. Now I walk slower, I breathe more deep, I don't promise things I cannot keep. I leave old versions where they belong and turn my healing into song. And all those nights, and all those fears, and all those wounds, and all those years were not punishment, were not defeat. They brought me back to my own heartbeat. They never knew what I carried, the hidden battles, the soul that carried me. nobody knows your story, keep going. If nobody sees the way, keep walking. One day you'll understand. You were never weak, you were becoming. And all that you carry was shaping your freedom. They never knew what I carried, but I forgive them, I release it softly. Because not being seen